How expensive is Thermaskirt compared to a traditional central heating system or underfloor heating, for example?
You got me out of jail. You got me out of jail with the underfloor heating.
Welcome guys, we'll do a property walkthrough with Ethan from Discrete Heat, who is going to install some Thermaskirt heated skirting boards. I'm going to have a walkthrough of the property and I'm going to pick his brains and find out what we've got to do to plan out for the first fix of the pipework and the plumbing. So Ethan, obviously in this room, it's going to be a bedroom. So you can actually see the original doorway, so we're going to be blocking that one up. So obviously what we need in here is obviously to run it around the full perimeter, but you'll notice straight away concrete floors.
Yeah.
So the pipe.
Yeah. So it's pretty common. I mean, houses of this age would normally have timber suspended floors. I think one of your other houses has got timber suspended floors, right? So when you do come across concrete, it does limit your options in terms of retrofit. I mean, when people want to get rid of radiators, naturally they do go for underfloor heating straight off the bat. Often in retrofit, if you've got wooden floor, if you've got solid concrete floor like this that's down, underfloor heating is kind of not an option. Yeah. And that's really where the Thermaskirt comes in. So in terms of plumbing this room up, you'd plumb it just like you would with a normal radiator. Right. So pipe drops from above on that side of the doorway, and then you'd loop around the room across this wall here. So a bit like in the last property, you sort of wrap the whole room in heat. So the TRV, the radiator valve could be on, for example, here, for example, and that will just be one skirting board all the way around the perimeter to eventually finish there. Apart from the doorway, obviously, we'd have to... So the doorway's here. Let's say that there's new pipework going in, isn't there? There is, so ignore that. Yeah. But for example, your pipework could drop down in this corner. Okay, right. You're bricking off that opening. Yeah. So the skirting would start in this corner. Right. And then basically run all the way around the room up to the doorway, so you've got like a full perimeter. Which means that, obviously, with radiators, you have to put it on a wall where there's not going to be any furniture. With heated skirting boards, we're getting the full, perimeter of the room, which is why it's so hot. With rooms like this, or with properties of this size, people were a lot happier in the 1920s to live in pretty confined space. Whereas if you think about this now compared to, a normal bedroom, you've got to fit a double bed in here, presumably. Yeah, and desk, wardrobe, So space becomes the issue. You've got a bay window, which might lend itself to a desk or a dressing table or something. But, particularly this sort of shape of room, by the time you've got, if your door opens this way, by the time you've got a double bed here, you are kind of short of space. Of where things are going to go. Yeah, the alcoves don't really lend themselves to rads. Yeah. And it could even give you the option to put some built-in wardrobes in the alcoves and then skirt along the front of it. Yeah. Oh, you could do that. Yeah. Good ideas. And then we move now into the living room. Again, I think it's just similar layout. This wall is going to be knocked down though, because this is going to be we're going to put a new staircase. We've seen them floor-to-ceiling wooden slats. Oh yeah. We're going to do that and make the staircase into a feature. Okay, right. Wow. So that's what we're going to do. There's not going to be any heat there, but it would still kind of be on that side, This side. So again, this opening is getting filled into the bedroom, isn't it? Of course it is, and then you've got that there as well. Yeah. So you'd start the skirting off and run all the way around up to the kitchen. Generally, in a room like this, or a property this age, if you cover 75% of the wall space in skirting, it's going to be absolutely fine. Yeah, perfect. The only issue we've got, unless you can rectify this, is the kitchen, because obviously underfloor heating could be an issue. And then obviously with the skirting boards, most of it's cupboards. So what would you do there? Or what can we do as an option? So potentially watching this, not necessarily what we might do here, but what could someone do potentially? Well, probably what you should do is the plinth version of the skirting. So do you recall in the last house we discussed having it as a kitchen plinth? But I think at the time you'd already had like the kitchen sized and what have you. So long as you put a plinth on that's 120 mil, you can fit the skirting on as a plinth, and then we can colour match it to the units. So based on whatever colour you go for the kitchen, you can actually have a heated plinth. So the heat's in front of the front of the kitchen units. So it's a Thermaskirt designed, camouflaged as a plinth. Correct. Plinth, which can be colour coded with the RAL number of the kitchen units, for example, or if you went for white, it'd just be the white. Yeah, sometimes you pick up an accent in the kitchen. So if it's got white worktops, so for example, in my kitchen we've got white quartz worktops, so we've gone for white plinth, and it kind of ties in. But we do stock black, anthracite grey, cream, like a sort of ivory colour, because they're the sort of most common. And then anything that's special from there, we basically take the paint code. So you've got a RAL number or even a paint code, and then we match it to that paint code. Yeah,
lovely.
Yeah.
So that's an option. If you have a kitchen and you're thinking about how do I get heating in there, obviously the Thermaskirt can help you with that. Yeah, it's basically going to run, this is the sink unit, and then we're going to potentially open up that space a little bit wider, and then have this as like a run of, not cupboards, this is going to be like a worktop space, and then this will be the cooking area with like the oven and the hob. Do you provide heated skirting for the stairs? We wouldn't need that because we're doing it out of oak, but do you have heated skirting for the stairs?
You wouldn't necessarily need to heat up the stairs. So it's a common misconception that you sort of need to heat every single available wall, and that includes the stairs. But if you take this space, for example, if you look at the amount of wall that you've got available for the actual square meterage, it's about 1 metre wide and about 4 metres long. So you've got 4 square metres here, and you can do 4 linear metres of skirting right up this side here.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's a transitional space. You aren't necessarily going to want a radiator in here because it does
encroach,
protrude out into the room.
Small area.
Yeah. And then you just have one line of skirting up here, and then on the unheated walls like this side, we just match in the dummy, so it's matching profile.
So they do have a for the size that you don't necessarily need heating. Thermaskirt does provide, well, Discrete Heat, does provide the MDF version, so it looks exactly the same as pretty much the skirting board, but just a wooden version, like a normal skirting board. It's a very similar layout to the other one, do you remember?
Yeah.
So kind of like the bathroom.
Sort of like a step-down bathroom.
Yeah.
You mean the kind of layout that would never pass building regs today?
Yeah, never would. The bathroom, we don't need to worry about because towel radiator, and it doesn't really matter. So just to explain here, so that my pipe work would come from upstairs running, because the boiler's on that cupboard, the boiler's staying there.
Got you.
So is it basically plumbing away from that down?
In the last house, obviously, because you had a suspended floor on the ground floor, all the pipe work goes down underneath the floor and then comes up to the skirting, like it would do here. Because you've got concrete downstairs, you would have to do the supplies on drops.
Right.
Same for your radiator, which is why downstairs, if you look, it's surface-mounted pipework everywhere, which obviously looks minging.
Yeah.
Nobody likes surface-mounted pipework. It has become more stylish now for people to leave like exposed copper pipes.
Yeah.
Because it just looks a bit more industrial than plastic trunking or what have you. But if you basically run the pipework down, surface mount, and then into the skirting on the ground floor, upstairs it's a lot more similar to a radiator. Yeah. So where the pipework comes up at the minute for the radiators, you basically, if you lifted the floorboards on the landing, or probably even that hatch there. So houses of this age, wouldn't have had central heating.
No.
That's why there's a fireplace in every single room, yeah? So when you take the carpets up, you can normally see hatches like this. So there's a hatch there and there's a hatch there.
Yeah.
And the likelihood is that's them taking pipework across to that radiator position.
Yeah.
Over there. So because it's already come up once, that's the most natural place to take the floors up. I would take these 2 boards out, and then you'll see that the pipework sat underneath those boards. You basically just take the pipes to the left-hand side of the door, and that's your start position for the skirting, and it runs all the way around. So the pipework that's in there up to the radiator, you can just cut it off and dead leg it, and the skirt will just run round from the side of the door there.
So in this project, obviously there is, we're starting again from scratch with new pipework.
Yeah.
If someone has got a property that they're living in currently and it's currently got a radiator, you mentioned retrofitting.
Yeah.
Can someone install Thermaskirt if they've got a radiator, say here? Could they take that radiator out and still install it?
Yes. So like I say, you can pick up the existing pipes somewhere nearer the door.
Right.
If that's not an option and you literally just want to isolate the first fix to this position, you can see that, for example, the pipework pops up out of the floorboards.
Yeah.
If you take that floorboard out as a section, so normally wherever the joists are, you'd cut the floorboard along the joist to lift that section out. Right. And you just bring the 2 pipes together. Right. And then you can start the Thermaskirt here. Yeah. We have what's called a bi-directional feed kit. Right. So you start in the middle, and the skirting runs in both directions and loops all the way back round.
So you can fit it, guys, if you do have radiators already in your property, you can still retrofit Thermaskirt from your existing pipework.
What happens now is we take a look at your floor plans basically. We do a quick assessment of the property. So normally this happens remotely, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we basically would look at a set of floor plans like this. And normally what happens, you know, when property investors or homeowners send us their floor plans, they normally send a few pictures of the room. So literally a quick scan of the room. As people are getting better and better at using like video calling and stuff like that on their phones.
You can video call them?
Yeah, we just have like
Easier.
a video call. So our tech team speak directly to the customer.
Right.
We do a quick walk around the house to identify any like red flags.
Yeah.
Wait, hang on. But normally it's pretty straightforward. It's just there as a check.
Right.
And then what we do is we cost it up and size it to each individual room.
Right.
That goes into the quoting system on a room by room basis. So you get a quote and a nice breakdown. You can see what every room costs.
Yeah.
And then we ship it out in room packs.
Yeah.
So it arrives,
They
you've
all
got
come
bedroom
together.
1, bedroom 2, lounge. So it's a little bit like a flat pack kitchen kit, effectively. All comes as part of the kit. We're installing this. I think you installed
The last one.
the last one.
Yeah.
But we do also have registered installers.
Right, around the UK.
Yes, exactly.
Nationwide.
It's a big question that people ask. I think since we first did when we did the first project with you guys, the influx of interest from installers was huge, and so
awesome.
last year we launched a registered installer scheme basically.
Lovely.
So installers can join us, get onto the program, they get a bit of product training.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, for most people who can fit pipework, the Thermaskirt's sort of child's play.
Yeah.
And then they become approved. So a lot of developers, a lot of homeowners, they'll reach out to the local installer first.
Right.
So we've got just
How can they
under
find
100.
that? Just is there a website, or is there anything that is it just a plumber? Do you think?
No, on our website, so if you go to discreteheat.com
Yeah, we'll plug it.
or thermaskirt.com,
Yeah.
then there's a section on the website that says installation, find an installer, and there's an
Right.
installer map.
Perfect.
You just put your
Yeah.
postcode in and it gives you the nearest 3
Right.
installers. And you can actually inquire directly from the website and it goes straight to them, and it also copies us in,
Right.
so that we can kind of get in the middle of it and make
Yeah.
sure that
All the
you know,
parts.
all
being
the parts
set.
are moving together. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
How expensive is Thermaskirt compared to a traditional central heating system or underfloor heating, for example?
You got me out of jail. You got me out of jail with the underfloor heating. And so obviously compared to like a bog standard panel radiator, it's more expensive.
Yeah.
Typically we're in the region of £500 to £1,000 a room. So, you know, the rooms in this house are a bit smaller, so you'd probably be nearer to the £500 a room mark. This house is going to be 3 beds and a lounge.
Yeah.
So for rooms that size, you're probably looking at, with the kitchen, maybe £2,500, something like that.
Materials.
Materials, yeah, exactly.
And then labour costs, obviously, whatever the registered approve in that area.
Correct,
It can vary,
correct,
obviously, from wherever you
Now,
are.
compared to putting underfloor heating in this house, it's significantly cheaper, because to put underfloor heating in here, you'd either need to do an overlay system where you put all new overlay boards down. That's a huge cost. Rip up the floor downstairs, a huge
the prep
cost.
work on underfloor is where the money is as well, like what you just said.
It's labour.
It's the labour of doing it.
Yeah. So the materials for
You
Thermaskirt
get any
and
insulation to come
correct.
with
Yeah. So materials for Thermaskirt and underfloor heating is very similar.
Right.
So you might go, oh, Thermaskirt costs £2,500, underfloor heating costs £2,500. But in actual fact, the underfloor heating is far more costly to install.
Right.
And also in a property like this, where you're also replacing all the skirting boards, fitting them and painting them, you have to factor in how much cost you're saving.
Killing 2 birds with 1 stone.
Exactly.
You have to buy the skirting board anyway, whether that was wood.
Yeah, you're probably
things a bit more.
looking... You're probably looking £5 a metre for skirting.
Yeah.
Then you've got to pay a joiner to cut that and install it,
of
and then a
course.
decorator to paint it.
Yeah.
And that's the bit of the job that they hate. I know a few decorators, they love whacking emulsion on walls, they hate glossing skirting
Oh, it's
boards.
the worst.
And for you as a landlord, you know, within the first 12 months, the timber skirts will be knackered. You know, because they get used and abused, don't they? You know, people chuck their bags down and they get scuffed and marked and everything.
Yeah, definitely.
Obviously, with the skirting being powder coated aluminium, it's very, very durable. So you don't get that. We need to repaint every 5 years. It doesn't discolour.
Yeah.
So the longevity of the product is there as well.
James, could you please tell us about your previous project where we fitted skirting board? What was the guests' like reviews? Was there any comments about heat?
Yeah, I mentioned it at the start of the video. It's not a joke. I'll even try and find some comments from guests who've complained that it's too hot, which only means that the system works and they just couldn't understand how to work the thermostat to turn it down.
Yeah, turn the boiler down would be my advice.
Yeah, it wasn't, obviously the heating skirting boards was like uncontrollably hot. It was the fact that they just didn't understand the digital Worcester Bosch boiler thermostat. But it works. Obviously, I'd never used Thermaskirt before. and it was all new to me. Everything was brand new. Was it going to work? All these questions going in my head. What if I invest all of this time and money and all these things into the project and it doesn't work? So I took a big risk, trusted Ethan's word, and do you know what? It paid off. And we're doing our own York project. And I haven't asked him yet, but we would like it there as well. But that's another discussion. Let's get this one out of the way first. Okay. But yeah, we love it. We're a big fan of it. And obviously you can still use radiators. I'm not against radiators, by the way. It's just that we might use radiators in the en-suites, for example. You don't need Thermaskirt everywhere, but for 90% of the house, I am a big fan of Thermaskirt.
It's definitely a mix and match question.
Yeah.
I think a lot of our branding is like say no to radiators, say no to radiators.
It's fun, it's cool.
But it's attention seeking at the end of the day. It's how do you stand out in a very crowded marketplace. But ultimately, a huge number of customers that fit Thermaskirt on a retrofit might just do it in a few rooms.
Yeah.
They might say, look, the radiator's okay in that room, the radiator's okay in this room, but the lounge, we really want a sofa there. The bedroom, we're going to have a bed there.
Yeah.
So they can just literally swap one rad out.
Yeah, pick and choose. That's the flexibility of the system, I suppose.
All Thermaskirt is, because people think it's wildly different and it's like a new way of heating the space, but fundamentally, from an actual plumbing perspective, it is just a radiator that's been squashed and stretched. Yeah, and disguised as a skirting board. That is as complicated as it gets.
Yeah, similar installation, but seamless look, I would say. Not big boxes, especially in these houses where there's very low insulation on the walls. You've only got that one area that has to radiate like heat to the whole room. If you've got it all the way around around the room, it's a lot easier and nicer.
Yeah, the other thing, the thing that we'll have to address on this project, just like we did on the last one, is also the walls and the floors.
Because, have you noticed there?
Yeah, I mean, even when you walk in here, you're like,
you get smaller as you walk down. Yeah, because but we did get around that, didn't we?
Yeah.
Did you chamfer it off?
Yeah, so you can chamfer the
bottom.
You can chamfer the bottom if you've got a hardwood floor.
Yeah.
So you've got tolerance on the bottom. I think we ended up taking about 10 mil out of the middle of the profile.
Right in. Yeah.
Or if you've got carpet, normally you actually lose it in the profile of the carpet because you've got 17 to 20 mil of underlay and carpet. Yeah. So any undulation in the floor, the skirting will obviously find a level. And then it doesn't really matter if it runs up or downhill, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And then you can sort of scribe it in to help with that. And on the walls, obviously with the walls not being straight, the corners won't be 90 degrees.
No.
These are the exact kind of problems that we had to design around because the first iteration of the product was nowhere near as forgiving as the product is now. So you'd go to a house like this where nothing's flat, nothing's straight, nothing's level.
Right.
And the installation would be a bit tricky.
Yes.
We've sort of designed our way around that now by using stainless steel corners that are a bit more malleable.
Oh, right.
Using mounting brackets. Do you remember the brackets that allow you to move up and down?
Yeah, so you can even take your floor out and put your floor in underneath, can't you?
We noticed that after the first project, we noticed that a few people were like, oh yeah, I used that in 2012 or whatever.
Yeah.
And we were going, yeah, but
it's not the same product.
You're talking about Mark 1 products, untested, untried. And to be fair, if you did install it in 2010, thanks, because you were a bit of a guinea pig. The product has continually developed since then and obviously improved to make it more suitable for older properties.
There you go, guys. Let us know if you've got any comments or questions and put them down in the comments and I'll reply to them and I'll ask Ethan obviously to help if there's any kind of technical questions in there. But obviously we will plug in Discrete Heat, so you can obviously contact them directly, and we've also got some Instagram reels coming up about this project, the installation, everything, which I think you'll be finding really useful if you're thinking about heated skirting boards for your own project.